This week, we've come to the towering mountains of Salt Lake City as Stadium Tour Purple rolls in for one action-packed night. Hi folks, I'm your host Jack, driver of the Heartstopper Monster Truck, joined up in the booth by Thunder, driver of the virtual Wicked Strong Monster Truck. Last week it was all Monster and Evil Force who doubled down, taking home both the racing and freestyle wins. Can he repeat this weekend, or will someone else rise to the occasion? It's all coming up next, here on Monster Truck Mayhem. As per usual, we have 3 competitions tonight, allowing our drivers to try for an overall event championship. The first of the 3 competitions is Monster Truck Racing. On the screen right now, you're looking at the left-hand side of the bracket and now the right side of the bracket. You can see a ton of great matchups here coming up in Salt Lake City. Our first pair is going to be Monster, the man who won racing last weekend in Evil Force, will be taking on the Visionary. And that's being driven by NS Racing. Once again, this is the first race of round number 1. Both drivers are waiting for green.
And there's the green light. We are racing.
Indeed, we are racing here at Salt Lake City. Slight edge to Monster and Evil Force as they come down the back straight. And he's going to have the edge as they go into the final turn. The Visionary doesn't quite seem to have it all together, so a fairly easy victory for Monster in Evil Force. Looking to go back-to-back racing wins this week.
At your next pairing will be Mr. Grimm and Christine. And on the near lane is Georgina Dixon and Miss Swampy.
This is the first time we're seeing the Miss Swampy truck here on the MTM broadcasts, here on YouTube. Can you see what she can come up with, and it is an immediate edge to Mr. Grimm and Christine. However, both trucks go wide in turn number 1. Coming into turn number 2, the clear advantage to Christine,
you can see
who will in fact be your winner in this race. Your next pairing here in round number 1 is going to be Ace Man driving Shocker. And their opponent, Savannah Ross in OWO. One of the more creatively named trucks, I think, that OWO machine. Nevertheless, green light is out and we are racing.
I actually really like that Panther design.
Indeed, a very unique body style. They are dead even going into turn number 2. It's going to come down to the final turn. Edge to Savannah in OWO. And they will pull it off. An incredible race here in round number 1. Your winner, OWO. And a backwards donut to celebrate. Love to see that.
Next pairing, Skate Shop, driven by Angel. As well as Supernova, driven by Jake Boone. And green light, we are underway.
Angel was unable to make it past round 1 last week in Anaheim, looking to change that this week in Salt Lake City. However, the edge is to Supernova as they make their way into turn number 2. And Jake will hold on to that edge, almost losing it as he checks up over the pod. However, your winner, nevertheless, Jake Boone in Supernova. Oh, what's this? The officials have called a 5-second penalty on Supernova for crossing one of those white chalk lines, so the win will actually go to Skate Shop. So a stunning turn of developments. Anyways, your next race, Big Bad Wolf will be taking on Herbivore, being driven by Edmund. Big Bad Wolf, another truck we saw out here last weekend in Anaheim.
And
Herbivore, new to the broadcast. And with all due respect, Herbivore just got schooled off the line. This one is all Big Bad Wolf, assuming they don't mess up the turn. And they almost did, checking up a little bit, but ensuring that they don't get a penalty, as Supernova did. So your winner, Big Bad Wolf, and Herbivore goes over in turn number 2. Not even sure how that happened.
Next up, Hightail, driven by Jack Johnson. And in the near lane, Purple Haze, driven by Trevor Clark.
Hightail sporting both a different chassis and a different body this week. Last weekend in Anaheim, they were driving an SIC chassis with a Ford F-150 style body. That is a Ford Expedition body on what I believe is a COD chassis this weekend. Rear advantage to Hightail as they make their way round turn number 2 and getting across the line by about a truck length. Your winner, Hightail. Coming up next, Savage, driven by Levi Savage, and their opponent is going to be Nick Giroux in Psycho Circus.
And there's our green light. Savage with the jump. It's an early hole shot. Psycho Circus goes
over in turn number 2, but is able to get it back on all 4 BKT tires. Ryan Lacoste, iconic quote there. So your winner, however, is going to be Levi Savage in Savage, owing to Psycho Circus's spectacular but unfortunate mistake in turn number 1. Anyways, Andrew Dickmeyer in the windbreaker.
Yep.
Looking to be getting a bye run here in round number 1. Their would-be opponent unable to fire. Not sure what that is about. So as long as they get across the line, they will advance into round number 2. A solid pass from the windbreaker. So recapping your round 1 racing, Evil Force will take on Christine in round number 2, and Owo advances to take on Skate Shop, taking advantage of a 5-second penalty by Supernova. Big Bad Wolf will take on Hightail, and Savage will take on the Windbreaker. Those are your round 2 matchups coming up next.
Your next lineup, Evil Force, driven by Monster, as well as Christine, driven by Mr. Grimm. Both red underglow trucks.
Absolutely, This is a battle of teammates, hence why they both have red underglows. Now Monster and Evil Force looking to go back-to-back racing wins. However, Mr. Grimm with the advantage in that Christine truck. They are now dead even, making their way down the back straight. It's going to come down to the final turn, and Evil Force makes a better turn, and that's going to decide the race.
And
so a very close finish and a
over
wild end for Mr. Grimm and Christine. Nevertheless, your winner, Evil Force.
The next pair, OO, driven by Savannah Ross. And Skate Shop, driven by Angel. Waiting on the green.
Arguably 2 of the more unique designs here in the MTM League, going head-to-head here in round number 2. Once again, Angel in the previous round was able to take advantage of a 5-second penalty called on Supernova. However, I don't think the same thing's going to happen here, as Savannah makes a very solid turn in that OO machine and will advance into round number 3. So a great performance from Savannah in OO. Your next pair is going to be Hightail, driven by Jack Johnson. We'll be taking on Big Bad Wolf, driven by Dusty Garcia.
And there's the green. Looks like Big Bad Wolf got a red light.
Absolutely.
And they know it.
Dusty Garcia absolutely jumped the start There is no way that that was a fair green light, so Hightail would get across the finish line anyway, nevertheless is going to advance by default no matter what the outcome was. So an unfortunate turn of events for Big Bad Wolf. Your next pair, this should be a great race. Z-Gold driving Savage. And they'll be taking on the Windbreaker, driven by Andrew. Green light is out, and we are racing once again here at Salt Lake City. Clear advantage to the Windbreaker, just demolishing Savage off the line. And continuing to hold on to that lead as they make their way down the back straight.
Beautiful turn from the Windbreaker. Savage gets offside a little bit. Windbreaker will take that win.
Savage almost made up the ground in that turn. Nevertheless, your semifinals. Evil Force will take on Owo, and Hightail will go up against the Windbreaker. Once again, Evil Force, driven by Monster, looking to go for back-to-back racing wins here in Salt Lake City. They won racing last week in Anaheim, and they're looking to do it again. And right now, they are on track to do it again. Nevertheless, we're going to find out if they will advance to the final round, because your first semifinal pairing is going to be Monster in Evil Force, taking on the, I must say, very impressive Savannah Ross in Owo.
Yeah, Savannah really has her work cut out for her here. As the green light is on, we are racing.
And actually, Savannah gets a very good start. Both of them are dead even going into turn number 1. So Savannah not willing to give up any inch of ground to Monster. However, Monster is so quick on this course and in that truck, he seems almost unstoppable, and Evil Force will advance to the final round.
Monster, one of the racing setup wizards over here. Meanwhile, our next lineup, Hightail, driven by Jack Johnson, versus the Windbreaker, driven by Andrew Dickmeyer.
The Windbreaker had an absolutely stellar race pass in the previous round, looking to do it again here in the semifinals. As a reminder, folks, last weekend your final race was Evil Force taking on the Windbreaker, and it looks like we are going to see a repeat, as Hightail is way over in the wall in turn number 1 and is all over the place in turn number 2, so a very easy victory for the Windbreaker. So we will be seeing a rematch of last week's final race, which will be Monster and Evil Force taking on the Windbreaker, although this week it's being driven by Andrew Dickmeyer. So different driver, same truck. Once again facing off against Evil Force for the racing win here on Stadium Tour Purple.
And your finals.
So your final round pairing, Monster and Evil Force taking on Andrew Dickmeyer in the Windbreaker. Now, I don't know how you call this race. Both of these guys have been very consistent and very fast all night long.
What I'm going to call it is close. Windbreaker gets the jump, has the whole shot going into the first turns.
Wow, huge advantage to the Windbreaker. However, Evil Force has made up the ground. It's going to come down to the final turn, and Evil Force looking to cut a tight one, overdoes it, going over the freestyle obstacle. They both go over the freestyle obstacles, and Windbreaker is in the wall. Evil Force also going over. Oh my goodness, what a wild end. Now, I believe both trucks get a 5-second penalty, but because the Windbreaker got across the line first, they will be your racing winner. So the Windbreaker able to make up on their loss from last week and defeat Evil Force. So here are your point standings after the racing competition. The Windbreaker leads with 16, Evil Force in second with 15, and Owo very impressively in third with 14 points respectively. We're going to be moving on to our best trick competition next, which of course will continue to decide your orders for the overall event championship. In this competition, judges are looking for 2 hits, tricks, technical moves, bicycles, moonwalks, and flips. Now, we won't be showing you all of the runs here, but we will be showing you the top finishers. Some of the runs that were more impressive and really wowed the judges. So in third place was Z-Gold, or Levi Savage, in Savage with a very impressive, I don't even know what you call that, a wheelie front flip, back flip over the center step up. Very impressive. And their second move, going for a, now that just defies physics. You, this competition is all about driver awareness and driver control, and Ziegold or Levi absolutely demonstrating that to the best of their abilities.
Second place was Evil Force. Starting off with a nice moonwalk, walking it back up the ramp. Not easy to do. There's not a lot of traction on those ramps.
Absolutely. Nevertheless, Monster in Evil Force.
Gotta have to combo it up somehow. Going for the seesaw, bringing it back to the rear wheels.
Looking very consistent out there. The skill that it takes to be able to balance these trucks the way that these guys are doing it.
And he was showing Tristan England how it was done. Meanwhile, Bicycle...
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, interesting.
Now, oh my goodness. Now, I don't think he planned to do that, but it was still pretty cool. Getting it on the sidewalls for a nice sidewall save. So Monster and Evil Force in second place. And your winner for the best trick competition in Salt Lake City, Jake Boone in Supernova. Excuse me, that's best skills competition, not best trick. Getting the nice moonwalk to wheelie combination. So first hit, I must say, a little lackluster, so I'm assuming it was all made up in the second one.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, yeah. That is a move that we're going to see Jake in the Supernova truck pull off many times this season. He calls that move the Nevermind.
Changing directions on the fly.
Indeed, a very impressive move. Demonstrates great driver skill. So here are your point standings after the best skills competition. Monster and Evil Force now back up to first place, looking to claim another overall event victory after winning it last weekend in Anaheim. The Windbreaker now down to second, and Ziegold and Savage moves up to third with 30, 29, and 25 points respectively. Coming up next, the coup de grace of the night, your freestyle competition. Now this is what the fans always look forward to. Here the judges are looking for you to fill the full 2 minutes, get combos, get big air, have insane tricks and technical moves, and of course filling the time. Fill the clock is so important, and we saw that last week, just how important it was. So we'll see what each driver can do this week. Coming up first, the Visionary, driven by NS Racing.
Yeah, we didn't see him on last week's broadcast. I love the futuristic SUV body style he runs.
Indeed, a very incredible paint job as well. And the clock does not start until they make their first move, by the way. So they're just parading around the stadium, finding a good place to start. Now the clock has started with some big air.
Second jump, more air. Sky wheelie, I love it.
Now remember, this is the first time we're seeing NS Racing and the Visionary here on the MTM YouTube broadcasts. So very interesting to see, gonna be very interesting to see what they can do here in this freestyle competition. First one out to go, you are setting the bar for the rest of the field, so you better go big and go hard. And I think NS Racing is doing that brilliantly right now, getting some great air off of all of these jumps and keeping his equipment together. We talk about that time and time again, just how important it is to fill the clock and keep your truck together. And NS Racing doing a great job in that beautiful Visionary.
Yeah, here if you don't fill in the first 30 seconds, you don't get a score at all, so...
Going for the backflip and executing it very nicely.
Nice moonwalk combo.
Now, oh my goodness, now going for broke, sending it off of the jammer. Now the truck did not actually break, that was just a BeamNG moment. Oh boy, now they're getting themselves in trouble. Holy cow, can they save that? No way. Holy cow, nominee for Save of the Year in the first run of the night here in Salt Lake City. That was incredible and a brilliant display of driving from NS Racing. Didn't even damage the body. That's how good of a save it was. Okay, well now they damaged the body. Ooh, that was a hard chassis hit. Nevertheless, it looks like they are going to fill the clock. They got 10 seconds left. So NS Racing, filling the clock in the Visionary, had some very spectacular moments. I imagine the judges are going to score this one very highly, ending it off with a huge send and a massive crash to finish out the night. It's still saving it. Wow. So an incredible start to tonight's freestyle competition. Here are some of the highlights. Take them away, Thunder.
Huge backflip to a moonwalk combo. Something that we've seen increasingly often here. Not easy to pull off. There's another look at some of the big air he's able to get. This was that huge save. We have first place right now with 21 points. It's almost like a sideways backflip, if there's any better way to put it. Next up, we'll see Angel in Skate Shop.
Score to beat is a 21 from the Visionary, and Skate Shop starting it off with a huge send and into a moonwalk combination. Now that's relatively easy to do in a truck that's front engine, but with one that's mid-engine, that is a whole lot harder. So an incredible display of driver skill and going for the backflip already. Well, that was less of a backflip and more of a corkscrew, but still spectacular nevertheless.
Huge air as we get into our 30-second mark. Try not to hit the wall.
Indeed, you definitely don't want to hit the wall, because hitting it is an immediate RII. Oh boy! Angel getting themselves in trouble, but holding on to it nicely. Okay, now they're really in trouble. Still holding on to it, though. And a nice save from Angel and Skate Shop. That body is toast. Trying for a bicycle to moonwalk, so some two-wheel skills action here in Skate Shop's freestyle run.
Judges are looking for some technical moves. Going comboing as much as he can.
Indeed, we talked about it last week, how drivers need to do everything they can. Oh boy, Angel. Separate themselves from the rest of the field, and I think Angel just did exactly that. What a move from Angel and Skate Shop, and they're still saving it on the sidewalls. Come on, you can get that thing back up. Unbelievable. This is only the second run of the night. Now, the Visionary had a great score, 21, but I would not be surprised if Angel and Skate Shop takes the lead after this run. This has been phenomenal. And like the Visionary, Skate Shop would appear to fill the clock with 8 seconds left to go.
I like that reverse to first combo.
Another save.
And gonna end the run on the front wheels.
Front wheels. And with that, the clock will finish. Angel and Skate Shop giving us an incredible run here at Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. Thunder, here are some of the highlights. Take it away.
The old corkscrew backflip. I believe that was like the second or third hit. One wheel bicycle ends up corkscrewing it again. Brings it to the front wheels, the side wheels. Everyone checking up right before the wall, showing truck control, brings it back up and around.
Oh my goodness, and the fans are booing loudly. That will not take the lead with a 20.5. The Visionary remains your leader. Coming up next, we have some highlights. This is Dusty Garcia in the Big Bad Wolf, who scored a 15.5 in their freestyle run. The body that they're running this week is very unusual. Oh my! Now, how they took... Oh, well, they're still saving it. And into the wall. There
it is.
We talked about how going into the wall is an immediate RII, and they did shut them off, but they were able to refire by the looks of things, going for the backflip and breaking the left rear wheel off. That's going to be the end of their run. So once again, a 15.5 for Dusty Garcia in Big Bad Wolf. Coming up next, Herbivore, who unfortunately got a DNF here in their first freestyle run on the MTM broadcast, again breaking off the left rear wheel by the looks of things. Indeed they did. That's an unfortunate break for Herbivore. However, I'm sure we will see them back again later in the season. Purple Haze scored a 17.5. This is being driven by Trevor. So again, your leader still remains the Visionary, driven by NS Racing with a score of a 21. A handful of trucks have gone already. Now this is interesting, trying for the backflip off the corner edge of the container. Very risky move to pull, but Trevor executed it brilliantly. So again, your leader remains NS Racing in the Visionary. Several trucks have gone at this point.
Oh, and there's the roll into the wall.
Oh my. Now that's a big crash. A lot of work to be done on that truck before it's ready for next week, I will say. So getting back to the action, Jack Johnson will bring out Hightail. Jack Johnson and Hightail made it all the way to the semifinals in racing earlier on, looking to one-up that and dethrone NS Racing of the Visionary here in Freestyle.
Huge to start the run off.
Now that was some serious elevation, Holmes.
Put that thing into orbit. If I do
say so myself. Wow. Announcing your presence, Jack Johnson and Hightail, starting it off the right way here in Salt Lake City.
Love that shiny body on that. More
Absolutely,
big
it
air.
looks good under the Rice-Eccles Stadium lights. Getting some great combinations. I'm loving the flow and I'm loving the momentum. We're 40 seconds in and trying for a backflip, nailing it brilliantly. I was just going to say, could use a little more wow factor, in my opinion. And as I was about to say that, they hit the backflip. So, clearly they're one step ahead of me. And that is some humongous air over the center step up.
We'll stop it on a dime.
Talking about deceleration trauma.
More big air. Cross-threading now. Tried to put it on the front two wheels, looks like couldn't get it.
This SIDC chassis holding together nicely here in this freestyle run with 40 seconds left to go. That is a hard case. Oh my, trying for a moon flip, getting it on the sidewalls for a nice save. Body is now toast.
30 seconds left to go.
Still going crazy, still driving wild. Once again, had another great save there. So once again, Jack Johnson and Hightail looking to beat a score of 21 from NS Racing in the Visionary,
wow.
and that was an incredible move, something you would normally see in the best trick competition, saving it in reverse. Wow. Now that's some driving away.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know what? Forget physics. Who needs physics when you have Jack Johnson and Hightail? That was unbelievable. I don't know what to say. And they're still saving it. Well, not anymore.
Leaving it on the roof. It's a run to be proud of.
Here are the highlights, but I think they speak for themselves, Thunder.
Yeah, huge air right off the bat. That was the first hit. Got a nice backflip moonwalk combo. Got the moon flip off the backside of the ramp. Turned into some sidewalls.
And this was it. This was the big moment. I don't even know how you do this.
Some superhuman thing. And good enough for first place with 25 points. That's a run to be proud of.
Wow. So a big score for Jack Johnson and Hightail, and deservedly so, I think. Anyways, coming up next, Aceman in Shocker. Now, I would not want to be Aceman right now. I would not want to have to try and follow up that run. Nevertheless, Aceman in Shocker is going to give it his all.
Lining up a big hit. Huge air off the racing lane.
We saw this last week in Anaheim, Thunder, and we're seeing it again this week. All these drivers are starting off their runs with huge leaps. That seems to be the trend here in the MTM League.
Got to make a big first impression.
Absolutely, especially with runs that NS Racing and Jack Johnson just threw down. You have to go big. Otherwise, you're simply not going to win here.
There's a high level of competition here.
Shocker getting a little rowdy. That's a bigger. Oh, and a hard hit. Somehow the truck stays in one piece and getting a moonwalk out of that. Now that's some driving.
More big air from the center of the racing sides. whatever you want to call those.
Indeed, those pods that help to make up the race course have also got some really good launch ramps built into them that you can utilize from a various amount of different angles. Oh boy, bouncing it off the front nose there. That was an interesting pogo move.
J-turn. Straight to a cross thread.
At this point, Ace Man is going for broke. You can see in the way he's driving. Gonna try for a backflip at this point off the sea container. Or trench box,
Huge
rather.
elevation.
Very large backflip into a moonwalk. 30 seconds left for Ace Man and Shocker. I think he has to give us a little bit more if he wants the hope of taking the lead from Jack Johnson. That's some big air.
Barely staying off the wall right there. More big air.
10 seconds left. This has been a great run so far, but again, I think he needs something a little bit more.
He's got about 2 seconds left. Huge air.
Oh!
Weird bounce.
Into a moonwalk. So it was a huge air assault for Ace Man and Shocker all throughout his freestyle run. The full 2 minutes were nothing but extreme air. And hey, the fans love extreme air, but when you pair this up with the incredible saves that Jack Johnson and NS Racing had in the previous freestyle runs, it's hard to argue how this one might take the lead. But I'm not a judge. We'll see what the judges say. And the judges give it a 21, tying NS Racing in the Visionary. So not good enough for first place. Your leader remains Jack Johnson in Hightail. Coming up next, Z Gold in Savage. Once again, the clock will not start until they make their first move.
Backing up by the ambulance.
Getting another full send.
Huge slap wheelie off of that.
Into a slap wheelie. Now that's something we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, there's not many slap wheelies here.
Oh my. More extreme air out of Z Gold and Savage. I tell you what, I feel bad for all the fans who are sitting in the lower section because they're spending most of this show looking up. That's gotta be uncomfortable after a while. Oh my, going for the consecutive backflip. Whoa! Savage is in trouble, but Z Gold holds on to it. An incredible save from Z Gold and Savage after failing to get the consecutive backflip, getting a corkscrew and sending it off the backside of the center step up. Now, if I'm Jack Johnson, I'm getting nervous. I am getting nervous because Z Gold is flat out going for it right now.
Rolling into some donuts. Again,
that's something else we haven't really seen. The judges got to be liking that. They like it when you do something that separates yourself from the other competitors. Also, I believe that left rear shock on Savage is collapsed. It's not looking too good back there. Nevertheless, Z Gold doesn't care. He's still going to send it to the moon.
Oh, gets a good moonwalk bounce.
And moonwalking it up the backside of the step up. That's one of those technical moves that the judges like to see. Oh my. Z Gold getting in trouble, but holding on to it nicely.
Hitting the side of that trench box. Went for the consecutive, ends up spinning it around into a slap wheelie.
So a second attempt at the consecutive with 10 seconds left to go. I'm glad I'm not a judge right now because I don't know how you score this.
I would score this at the same height of that air. Jeez, huge. Ends it on the tailgate. Guessing you wanted to park it up there.
Great parking job from Z Gold and Savage. Here are some of the highlights. So first off, Z Gold tried to go for this consecutive backflip, didn't quite get it, and instead got a spectacular save out of it instead.
I wonder if
obviously they were not planning for that, shredding the body off, getting a nice donut here. And again, this start to finish, this was a phenomenal run. Easily capable of challenging Jack Johnson for the lead, but I don't know what the judges are going to think, and I'm not going to try to predict it, because this was a great performance. Although, depending on what they say, we might hear some boos, so prepare for that. And it's not enough.
22 points, good enough for second.
Wow, I thought it would be at least a little higher than that. So clearly, the judges did not see eye to eye with us up here in the commentator's booth. Back to some more highlights. This is Savannah driving Owo, who scored a 19 in their freestyle performance. Now, clearly they've chosen not to go backwards this time. Oh, well, I say that. Here comes a reverse donut. If you remember last week in Anaheim, they tried to do their entire freestyle run in reverse, and it didn't quite work out for them. So clearly they've had a change of heart. However, going for the reverse backflip, looks like it didn't work out in their favor, breaking the right front tire clean off on that landing. So an unfortunate end to Savannah's run in Owo. Now, Jake Boone and Supernova, this was probably one of the biggest surprises of the night, and not in a good way. Normally, Jake fills the clock and does a great job in freestyle, but not this week. He scores only a 16 in his freestyle performance. Nevertheless, he got some solid moves in there, attempting for a moonwalk, getting some great air, as did everybody else throughout the night. However, he once again tried for a nevermind, and it just didn't work out for him this time, unfortunately. So Jake Boone and Supernova with a 16. Miss Swampy scored a 19.5 in their freestyle run. Again, this is another truck that we're seeing for the first time here on the MTM YouTube channel broadcast. We're excited to see them.
Real-life daughter of the driver of Swamp Thing.
Exactly, so this is Monster Truck royalty here. However, this time that Monster Truck royalty did not equate to a victory. Oh, and it's a wild finish. Can they save that? Oh my goodness, and they did. Now that was an incredible save.
Oh, that's where it ends.
Now that's deceleration trauma. Forget what I said earlier. That had to have hurt. Nevertheless, coming up next, Andrew Dickmeyer in the Windbreaker, who did win racing, looking to double down here in Salt Lake City.
Time starts now with some long air.
Now, I think it's going to take, from a driver's standpoint, 100% and then some if you're going to beat Jack Johnson and Hightail, and that's some serious elevation, Holmes. Yeah, as I was going to say, you've got to give the judges the spectacular. You've got to do something that they haven't seen before, and that's exactly what Jack Johnson and Hightail gave them. So if Windbreaker wants any hope of double downing here in Salt Lake City at Rice-Eccles Stadium, they're going to have to do the same. Speaking of the spectacular, that is spectacular, and that is what the judges are looking for. They want to see the saves, they want to see the physics-defying moves, and the Windbreaker has already given them one with still a minute left to go in their run, and some more extreme air over that pod.
Huge air, gets on the side wheels but keeps it going. Truck stays good. Another person going for the side.
Backflipping off the side of the trench box.
Interesting angle.
Indeed, Windbreaker's trying to get creative, trying to do something that the judges haven't seen yet, which, as I've stated, is what's going to get you the victory.
That's one of the hard parts about going last, is you have to one-up, or going towards the end, is you have to one-up everybody that goes before you.
Indeed, Windbreaker is not last. We haven't seen Evil Force yet. Nevertheless, Windbreaker is flat out going for it right now, and this is where it gets wild. Now that was a hard impact, and the truck is not broken. I thought it was. 5 seconds left to go, and I'm not sure if this is the strong ending that they were hoping for.
Huge air to end it off with a tumble, end over end. Gonna try to pull off a save, we'll see.
Well, I was about to say I spoke too soon, had the Windbreaker pulled off that save, but they didn't quite get it. Nevertheless, it was spectacular, and there are plenty of highlights in Wells. That great save, and then from there it just seemed like the Windbreaker was trying to reach the moon or go into orbit, or both, because they were flat out airing it out here tonight, even on the backflip ramp. I mean, that was a huge backflip. 22.5 from the judges.
Good enough for second. Gonna take a lot to get past Hightail Lotus. Meanwhile, we got the Windbreaker, Andrew Dickmeyer.
This is actually Monster
Evil Force.
Evil Force. a graphics glitch there. I'm sure that will be fixed a little later. Anyways, on the track now. Monster and Evil Force, who did win Freestyle last week, hoping to do it again this week in Salt Lake City at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
I was wondering why he had an awful run.
Came so close to winning the racing competition earlier on, but lost in the final round to the windbreaker. Now, oh, that's some huge air. Now, though, attempting to dethrone Jack Johnson, still your leader in hightail with a score of a 25. That's different. That's exactly what we were talking about. Do something that makes you stand out that nobody else has done. We haven't seen anybody backflip off the side of that pod. Everybody's been using the sea container. That's the first time we've seen anybody do a backflip off an obstacle that wasn't the trench box.
Oh, there we go.
And a never mind to boot. Now this is exactly what the judges are looking for. And if I'm Jack Johnson, I'm getting nervous because Monster knows exactly what he has to do to win, and another great save from Evil Force right there.
And trying to keep that speed and momentum going. Huge sky wheelie, love it.
30 seconds left to go for Monster and Evil Force.
More giant air.
He's got himself a good run going, but I think he needs to step it up just a little bit more if he wants to dethrone Hightail. Lining up for the trench box with 10 seconds left to go. Getting a moonwalk combination out of that backflip, 5 seconds. He's got enough time for maybe one more hit. He better make it count.
Huge air. Ow. Hard landing, though.
Now that is one of the most violent crashes I think I've ever seen. Looks like he tried to go for a front flip, but just fell short and landed hard on the roof. I hope he's okay. Anyways, here are the highlights. And again, start to finish, this was a great run, but considering how the judges have been behaving with some of the other great runs that followed Hightail, I'm not sure what they're going to think of this one.
See, it's
again, with a great performance, it will not be enough. A 22 for Monster and Evil Force, putting him in 4th place, so your freestyle winner here at Salt Lake City. Oh, excuse me, I spoke too soon. I spoke way too soon. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. We still have Mr. Grimm and Christine. I'm so sorry for forgetting you, Mr. Grimm. Now they're going to take out their anger on me for forgetting that they were still in this field. So, pardon my premature call. The night is not over yet. Yeah, Jack Johnson and Hightail has not yet won freestyle. Still 2 more trucks to go, counting this one.
I believe it was larger field than last time. We were tallying wrong. Huge air.
The Christine truck, one of the more unique body styles that you see here in MTM, and is just airing it out.
Yeah, I have no idea what the body's based on, though. Never seen anything like that before with that name.
I think it's a Studebaker. Excuse me, it's a Plymouth Fury from 1951.
And it's also from a movie, and that's the joke I was making. Anyway, huge air, body panels flying everywhere.
Hey, let's be clear, that car existed before the movie did, so therefore that movie was about the car, not the car was about the movie. Anyways, that's a topic for another time.
Quite the flex on that chassis.
Absolutely, I don't think that was intentional. Nevertheless, 30 seconds left to go for Mr. Grimm and Christine. A very solid run here, but I think it could use a little more wow factor, but they still got time. 25 seconds left on the clock for Christine.
Lining up something big, I think.
Tried for maybe a front flip there, but didn't get it, so instead did some kind of corkscrew, and hey, it wasn't clean, it wasn't pretty, but it was still spectacular, and now the body is completely gone as the clock winds down to 0. So Mr. Grimm doing a great job out there in that pristine truck. However, I'm somewhat confident that this will not be enough to take the lead away from Jack Johnson in hightail. Nevertheless, we will see what the judges think. But before that, we have some highlights to get to. Take it away, Thunder.
Christine, huge air right off the bat. That was something consistent in Grimm's run. Looked like he was going to go for a wheelie to it, but ended up with some sort of 180 save.
Score is at 21.5, so not enough to take the lead away from Jack Johnson and hightail. Anyways, I believe Nick and Psycho Circus.
Big air to start off with the nice slap wheelie.
Very impressive indeed.
Jay turns back to the center ramp. Giant sky wheelie.
Over the center step up, and we've talked about what it's going to take to dethrone Jack Johnson and hightail. It's going to take a lot of momentum, a lot of air, and a lot of gravity-defying moves. And as I mentioned last week in Anaheim, Nick and Psycho Circus is a former MTM Freestyle champion. So if anybody can get it done, it's this guy.
Oh, interesting. I
Tried
really
for the
like
front
that
flip.
move.
A few trucks have tried that move tonight already in Freestyle, but Psycho Circus is the first one to get it, so the judges have got to be impressed with that. It wasn't the cleanest front flip ever. Did touch the body, but hey, front flip is a front flip. 1 minute left to go for Nick and Psycho Circus, doing a great job out there.
Slap wheelie keeps it flying over the jump, turns it right back around.
Hitting all the obstacles, getting the judges some spectacular moves to consider. This is a great run so far. Oh my, you want to talk about physics defying. Psycho Circus has flipped about 3 or 4 times, but the truck is broken. Either a 4-link or a wheel.
Leave some time on the clock. We'll see how that affects the score.
Maybe not. The truck is not broken. However, it did get shut off. Nick will refire, and it's going, but it's big problems. Oh no. So the run ends a little prematurely, but it was still very, very spectacular from the former MTM Freestyle champion.
I actually like that almost more than a regular front flip with the wheels touching down.
Indeed, that was a very spectacular move. We'll see what the judges think of it, though. This also a gravity-defying move. Tried to get a moonwalk out of that, and this is where things really got crazy. Count how many times this truck flipped. That's 1, 2, 3. 3 times the truck flipped, and it's a total of 22 for Psycho Circus, putting them in 6th place. So your freestyle winner will in fact be Jack Johnson and hightail. And your overall standings, the windbreaker will come home as your overall event championship with a total of 44 points. Monster and Evil Force coming in 2nd with 43 points, and Seagold and Savage with 39 points. So it was a spectacular event here at Salt Lake City. And until next time, we'll see you all right here on Monster Truck Mayhem.